Hello, English 101. Welcome to Module 6, your second to last module. We have almost made it through our fall session 1. It's taken a little while, but we are getting there. So let's hop right into Module 6, and I'll show you what's going on. So we have the module opening Monday, October 15th at 8 a.m. And then just as a reminder, your discussion Part A is now due on Thursdays at 11:59 p.m. And then your replies are due on Friday at 11:59 p.m. And then your essay assignment will be due on Sunday, October 21st at 11:59 p.m. So this week is a little bit lighter than last week. Just a heads up, next week's going to be a little heavier again, but then we will be wrapping things up. Thankfully. So moving right along, for your Module 6 readings, you will need to read at least 2 film reviews to successfully complete Discussion 6. And the discussion, of course, is below. And then you will also need to head to your peer review feedback from the draft and peer review assignment. You'll need to look at that and really not just skim it, but look at it and see what your peer said about your paper. And of course, as always, make sure you review the prompt, guidelines, and rubric for the essay assignment. Make sure that you have written the essay that you have been asked to write. The first step to good writing is knowing what you're supposed to do, knowing the prompt. And then just like last time, you will also need to review all previously assigned reading materials and be familiar with APA format. Your discussion board 6 is right here, so you can finish that your original response by Thursday, and then your responses to each other by Friday. By now, I'm sure you have a good idea of what's going on in the discussion board, so I'll let you read this at your own time. And then we'll move into your Module 6 assignment. So we've talked a lot about the writing process and how it's not linear and it's not even circular. It's a little more, I think in our last video, I likened it to a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, it goes around, it goes backwards and forwards. It takes a lot of different directions. And the process is different often for different types of writing that we encounter. So the next step then in the writing process is to take feedback and review what we have and insert that feedback where we think is necessary, and then also maybe let go of feedback that we don't think is helpful. So I have this broken down into 2 parts. So 1, you can look at your peers' feedback, but then 2, you can also provide yourself some feedback. That's a really important step of the writing process. So here, I'll read through this step by step. You've heard me say it more than once, and I will say it again. Writing is a process. That means we have to continually revisit our work and revise as many times as it takes. I'll pause there. A lot of times I hear my students say that they think it takes 3 revisions to have a piece of writing complete. I'm not sure where that number came from, but there is no magic number. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 300, right? I don't know. So there's no magic number. We revisit our work and revise as many times as it takes. The purpose of this assignment is to review your paper again now that you have someone else's feedback and to ensure that you have met the rubric expectations. So part 1. After you're reading your peer's review of your essay, consider his or her feedback. What did you find useful? What did you not find quite as helpful? And I'll pause here again. So what's important to remember about feedback is some of it's very good and some of it's not. We don't have to take every piece of advice that people give us, whether it's our writing or anything else in life, right? Sometimes things are good pieces of advice, or it's a good bit of feedback. Sometimes it's not. So what did you find useful? What did you not find quite as helpful? Once you feel you have a thorough understanding of the feedback, begin to revise your essay with that feedback in mind. So what I would like for you to do as you revise with that feedback in mind, as you make revisions in your essay based upon your peer review feedback, please highlight that in yellow. Anything else that you fix along those lines, if you're, inserting your peers' feedback and you notice oh shoot, I actually should make this a separate paragraph, you can highlight that in blue. So revisions based upon your peers' feedback in yellow, and then revisions based upon things that you found as you were writing, highlight in blue. And then part 2. You'll use the essay rubric, which is located here and in the essay file folder. And using the requirements on the rubric, please review your paper to see if you meet those requirements. So sometimes we look at the rubric, we're like, yeah, I did that. But then if we actually look for where we did that in the essay, we might find that it's not actually there that we thought it was. Or maybe it is, who knows, right? It's more of just sort of a safety net. In math, you do an equation and then you go back and you sort of work backwards to double check to see if you did it correctly. It's sort of the same thing here. You write the essay, then you look at the rubric to see if it's there, and if you don't meet those requirements, you add them in. So where you cannot answer the rubric questions, revise your essay to meet those expectations. So while you're doing this, when you are checking to see if you meet the expectations, where you employ the invention requirements on the rubric, highlight in pink. I don't need you to highlight every single one if, it could be a little bit maniacal, but give me at least one or two examples of where you meet those requirements. Where you employ the arrangement requirements, highlight them in green. Style, highlight in gray. Memory in purple. Delivery in orange. So your essay is going to look a little bit crazy with all these different colors, but the reason I'm having you do this is so you can see where you meet the requirements and where maybe if there's things not highlighted, maybe you're like, oh shoot, something needs to go in there. Or if everything is all highlighted in, say, gray, you're like, oh, well, I got my style down, but I don't really have anything in pink or green. It gives us a little bit of feedback about our essays. So again, you don't really need to highlight every single thing. If you have, let's say you have evidence of invention in 6 different places, just give me a couple so I know it's there. But you should be looking the whole time to make sure that you meet these requirements throughout your whole essay. Then to submit this, you'll just add it as an attachment. The grading is 75 points. If you remember when we had that half week because of the hurricane, I took your assignment from that week and then you split up those points across 2 other assignments. So this is the last one that will be worth 75 points. So it's 75 points. It's pass fail. You really can't do this right or wrong. It's more of a matter of just doing it and getting that feedback for yourself. So if you do it, it's pass fail. If you do it, it's pass. If you don't, it's fail. Students must meet all expectations and review the essay for all required components. So at some point in your essay, I should be seeing yellow, blue, pink, green, gray, purple, and orange. There should be nothing missing. If there's something missing, you better add it back in and highlight it. So let me know if you have questions about that. And then, of course, we have your resources here. If you click in that folder, there's all sorts of information that can help you with this essay and beyond, including your APA style guide, information about the Writing Center. I think we talked about this before. Some information about writing for nursing, TAC, the library, the whole 9 yards. And if you keep scrolling down, there's even stuff about mechanics of writing. So I hope you feel that you have resources to be successful. If there's something that you need that I haven't provided, please let me know so I can add it in here for you. And then we also have our next steps here. This will be your last module and there's a lot to do. So you will have your discussion, you will have a final essay, right? There's a lot of things happening. It's sort of your last hurrah before the end. So please plan accordingly, get your calendars organized and ready to go. The last thing I want to note is that this is a little bit separate from Module 6, but if you hop over to Module 5, you will know that you have some deadlines, of course, as always, by Sunday. A lot of people in these OAP classes are out of power right now because of the tropical storm that went through the central part of the state. I have extended all of the deadlines for all of the work till Tuesday the 16th at 11:59 p.m. So you're welcome to complete it on time if that's available to you, but otherwise you do have until Tuesday to turn everything in for Module 5. Your Module 6 will open at its regular time, so there will be a little overlap between Module 5 and Module 6. Otherwise, here's to a fantastic week and getting into the end of our semester together. If you have questions, just let me know, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.